Bienvenidos a Benque Viejo del Carmen, a land rich in history, culture, and tradition. Hailing from its ancient Maya origins, to the logging industry, to the golden era of the chicle industry, to the famous July Benque Fiesta. The chicle industry heralded a time of growth for Benque and its recognition as a municipality in 1904. While the origins of the famous Benque Fiesta lie in the Catholic feast day celebration of La Virgen del Carmen, the patron saint of Benque, and a prominent character in the festivity was La Chatona, dancing along to the marimba. La Virgen del Carmen, as a patron saint, is a syncretism of indigenous Mesoamerican culture and Spanish Catholic tradition. La Chatona, on the other hand, is a syncretism of indigenous Mesoamerican culture and the chicleria industry in the colonial era. La Chatona is a cultural icon in Benque. She is about 7 feet tall, dolled up, pun intended, and she is constructed with a hollow frame so that a person, typically a man, gets in and dances her around. In 2014, I was in León, Nicaragua, and I was surprised to see a figure similar to La Chatona dancing at the town square. She was taller. She is actually La Gigantona, and she is usually accompanied by los cabezones. She is a representation of the Spanish woman, and indigenous people made satire of her. La Chatona, on the other hand, carries more remnants of Mesoamerican culture. Undoubtedly, there is a variety of syncretism in celebrations, dances, music, and traditions throughout Mesoamerica. La Chatona is an example of this syncretism and an important source for our rich Mesoamerican cultural heritage. Here's a snippet of an interview with Don Luis Lara, who is at the forefront of safeguarding the tradition of dancing La Chatona.
Tengo 35 años de bailar la chata, de la historia. Es una mujer que vino de Mérida, Yucatán, de Trona. Vino a trabajar aquí con los chicleros aquí a Flores que tengo, San Andrés. Llegó, le dieron trabajo en la montaña, que voy a hacer de cocinera, de que lave y todo a los chicleros. Ella era bailadora, le gustaba tomar también. Una culebra la mordió y se murió allá en el monte. La trajeron a San Andrés, la enterraron. Y entonces un chiclero más astuto hizo uno igual a su memoria. Y comenzó entonces, eso fue en unos 30, 40. La tradición de bailar la chatona es con marimba. Ajá. Marimba. Esa es el origen de la chatona, marimba.
Y me dijo la última vez que su abuelo tocaba.
Él tocaba marimba, sí. Él la hizo allá. Y ya la venimos cargando, la somos en el país. Fuimos a bailar a la feria. El tiempo solo nos daban pollo, nos daban conserva, y ayote, nos daban en café, pan dulce. Eso era lo que nos daban para comer en esos tiempos.
Como intercambio de pago.
Ajá, sí. Y entonces, y ahí me di cuenta yo, dije, mi abuelo se murió, entonces tardaron buenos años cuando él murió. Cuando yo dije, tengo que revivir esta tradición.
¿A veces recuerda la reacción del pueblo cuando usted comenzó a después de tanto tiempo?
No, sí, cuando yo empecé, los niños tenían miedo a la chatona, salían corriendo, ella era una, salían corriendo, porque la miraban bailar.
¿Y quién hizo el primer?
Mi hermano.
¿Su hermano? ¿Ella le hacía los trajes para tu abuelo cuando él hacía?
No, mi abuelo lo hacía. Él hacía a tu manera, pero en aquel tiempo era curioso.
Cuente.
¿Te acuerdas del maíz que venía el maíz del coloche que le tiene pelusa? Para el pelo.
Este usaba para el pelo.
Este usaba para el pelo, la pelusa del coloche.
¿Y el traje?
Pues él lo hacía. No sé cómo lo hacía, pero era.
Igual, faldas grandes.
Sí.
Ok.
Y de hermanos igual de cartón.
Y la cara era de cartón.
También de cartón. Como puedes ver aquí, esta es la tradición de flores que tengo. Como la primera chatona que viste no era así. Claro. Cara horrible. Velo.
La cara.
Era de plástico. Era de plástico.
Una mascarilla.
Me mandaron. Y entonces aquí estamos en Punta Gorda, en la aldea en Tumulquín. Ajá, ahí cabal, Tumulquín.
Sí, la conozco. Bueno, creo que es todo por hoy. Muchísimas gracias
Welcome again.
por compartir.
Chiquito de cada cosa, ¿no?
Sí.
I hope you all enjoyed that. As you heard, Don Luis Lara is the grandson of Don Gumercindo and Doña Tomasa Requena. Doña Tomasa was originally from Mérida, Yucatan, and a Yucatec Maya. Don Gumercindo was originally from Petén and of African ancestry. I want to note that there is a rich history of enslaved Africans running away from the settlement of Belize to the Petén area in the 17 and 1800s. Don Gumercindo also played the marimba, and he is the one who introduced La Chatona to Benque. Don Luis learned how to make La Chatona from his grandfather at about age 10 at their farm across the river. Don Luis took up dancing La Chatona in 1993, after many years of not doing it since his grandfather died in 1975. As he mentioned, La Chatona is originally from San Andrés Petén. They even have a monument in her honor there. And in 2007, the Guatemalan Ministry of Culture and Sports declared El Baile de la Chatona y el Caballito an intangible cultural heritage. Now, San Andrés is a municipality on the north side of the lake Petén Itzá. After the Spanish conquered No Petén, the island of Flores, where the Maya resisted well into the late 17th century, San Andrés was established to relocate inhabitants who had fled to the surrounding hills, as well as to relocate people from Tipu in western Belize, another site famous for Maya resistance to the Spanish conquest. Let me point out that although Tipuans were forcibly moved to Petén in the early 1700s, there already was, before Spanish conquest and up to present, a historical connection between people of western Belize and people in the Petén area. Mesoamerica was connected culturally, politically, and economically. And the roots for La Chatona can be traced back to Mesoamerican cosmology. I'm referring to people's view of the cosmos and the significance of nature and the universe, the significance of maize or corn, the ceiba tree that connects our place on earth with the heavens and the underworld, the importance of the four directions, the 260-day and 365-day calendars, and of course, the gods and goddesses, and sacrifice and festivities. The way La Chatona looks and dances and the folklore reminds me of some descriptions in Historia de las Cosas de la Nueva España, written by Franciscan friar Bernardino de Sahagún, who was assisted by indigenous students, particularly Nahua students and informants, for this work. It is in the descriptions of the festivities done for some of these goddesses that I find parallels for the origin of La Chatona. In Book 1, the following principal goddesses are listed. Number 1, Cihuacuatl, aka Tonantzin, which means our mother, and Tona for short. This could be the origin for the name Chatona. Tonantzin, Tona, Chatona. Then there's Chicomecuatl, goddess of sustenance, particularly maize. Then there's Teteo Inan, mother of the gods. aka Tosi, our grandmother. Then there's Chalchuitlicue, she of the jade skirt, goddess of lakes and streams, and Tlazolteotl, eater of filth, the goddess of purification and curing. These goddesses overlap. They are all one and the same, just different manifestations of the divine. In Book 2, the veintenas are listed along with descriptions of the celebrations and rituals for each. In the 8th veintena, Hueytecuihilhuitl, the goddess Hilonem, goddess of hilotes, young maize, is celebrated, and food is given to all the poor, and a woman in her image is sacrificed. That description parallels the July fiesta in Benque, with the sharing of food as is done at the alboradas, or early morning prayers. And because the equivalent date listed for the start of this veintena is July 16th, which is the feast day of La Virgen del Carmen, a fiesta at which La Chatona dances to the marimba. In the 11th veintena, called Ochpanistli, the Teoinan or Tosi is celebrated solemnly, in silence. They cut off the head of the woman in her image and also take out her heart. She is also skinned. And then a young man wears her skin and dances through the crowds, embodying her, the goddess. This is paralleled by a man going under La Chatona, don't you think? Lastly, in the 18th veintena, Tititl, Ilamatecutli, aka Cihuacuatl, or Tona, is celebrated. The woman in her image who is sacrificed has her head cut off and her heart taken out. And then a man would carry her head in his right hand and make gestures and dance like her through the crowds. And people also made sacks as long as arms with short ropes and stuffed them with soft things, and young men hit women in the streets with it, to the point of making them cry. La Chatona's arms are similar. But back to the lore. Consider that La Chatona is from Mexico. Consider the singing and dancing and drinking, and the snake symbology, which is prominent in Mesoamerican culture. And of course, how wearing the doll parallels the man wearing the sacrificed woman's skin. Minus the sacrifices, of course, we can use La Chatona to promote our history and social inclusion, education, and creative expression, and to create sustainable cultural industries. Don Luis is willing to have workshops to teach kids how to make miniature chatonas. Through La Chatona, we can reclaim our roots, history, and identity. Gracias. Que viva La Chatona.